2 weeks ago, Rocky and I flew to Paris, rode a train to Spain, started the Camino Frances, walked a lot, took a detour to Bilbao, got sick, and now we were waiting for the results.
I got strep throat, so that's been fun.
The doctor said Camino cough is common, but this strep throat took me out. Thankfully, we got some antibiotics and could take a few days off in Leon to recover. However, after our detour to Bilbao and the time spent sick in a hotel, we needed to jump ahead slightly to finish the Camino in time. But before we left, we spent a day learning about Leon's Roman history and visiting its 13th century cathedral. While there, we learned the Leon Cathedral has one of the largest collections of medieval stained glass in the world.
Today we're taking the train to Astorga to hopefully get back on track. Outside of my voice sounding like this, everything else seems okay, so fingers crossed.
What did we do in Astorga? We went to a chocolate museum and saw all the old machines and stuff they use to make chocolate.
Astorga was one of the first European cities to taste chocolate, thanks to Spanish explorer Hernán Cortés, who brought it from the New World in the 16th century. Today, Astorga celebrates its chocolate heritage with traditional chocolatiers and this museum dedicated to the history of the beloved treat. After the history of chocolate in the area, we toured an ancient Roman prison that housed a collection of artifacts from an even earlier history in Astorga. The history of the Camino is evident in every footfall, but never more present than when encountering relics and artifacts from another time, each step imbued with echoes of the people who journeyed these paths for centuries, leaving behind traces of their suffering, faith, stories, and the enduring cultural tapestry that defines this iconic pilgrimage. The next morning, we left the old town of Astorga behind and continued our journey east to the city of Santiago de Compostela on our first really cold morning of the trip.
We spent the day climbing this really beautiful mountain range, and it was windy, and we didn't have reservations at a place. It's the one day we didn't. It's pretty tough last half of the day. The view's pretty cool. Into this little, it almost felt like a German ski town or something.
Yeah.
And we went to the first albergue. They had a vacancy. We took it, and how was it?
It was not good. Well, first we got in there, and it's oh, maybe it's just us. And then Andrew's like, yeah, I think it's just us. I think we got lucky. It's just us. There's 4 other beds?
Yeah, 4 empty beds in our room.
In our rooms, this group of people come in, and one of them was a smoker, so they had hacking coughs all night.
Yeah, we both woke up many times throughout the night. Rocky had worse sleep than I did.
Yeah.
So we left the mountain town and to head to Ponferrada, and it's a long day, 18 miles or something.
At the Camino Frances high point, the Cruz de Ferro sits atop a mound of pebbles, stones, and dirt. For years, many who walk the Camino carry a piece from their homes or a significant place along their journey, and place it here, symbolizing leaving their burdens behind, lightening their load, and letting go.
Yeah, it's another pretty day. It was a hard day, though. Lots of downhill. The same hill we went up, we had to go down. But yeah, we had lunch at this really cute little town by the river and made it to Ponferrada.
Yeah, I made a lot of cat signs.
Oh, yeah. So
Little cats.
so-
I touched them. Well, I only touched one, and then I tried to touch another one, and that one that I touched started whistling at all of them. So I think it owns me now.
And then when we got to Ponferrada, we saw a castle.
Yeah, Knights of Templar. But yeah, Christ himself, Nicholas came to our island.
The next day, we walked through town, through fields and vineyards, past ancient buildings and modern homes, as it slowly started to sink in that we were closer to the end of our Camino than to its beginning.
We had a really steep day,
Yes.
and it ended up being about, 18, 19, 20 miles. Yeah, it was like 18 miles by GPS, but 20 miles by our watches.
The days were long, yes, but they brought with them discovery, wonder, mesmerizing scenery, and beauty.
We're now headed downhill, and that's going to feel great on our knees.
I have what in my patella, or is it patella? It's like the double R. My knee bone, my tendonitis.
Rocky's got some knee and hip tendonitis.
No, I don't know what my hip is. It's been hurting since the first day, and I can't lift my leg off a certain height, like after it's like, honestly, if it's higher than walking, it's just real good. It's real good for me to do.
Buen camino. For the next week, basically, we all have much easier mileage days until the second to last day. So that
last day
is
like
21
24
miles.
Which is it? I mean, this is the thing. This whole trip, I go, oh, what's the elevation? Or what's it? Is it flat? Is there a lot of up steeps and downs? And Andrew's like, oh no, look at the first day. The first day was the worst because it's like this big.
Massive. It was like 4,000 feet of elevation gain and loss. Apparently, this is a 800-year-old chestnut tree. It's 800 years. I'm not sure if it's chestnut. What are you doing to this cat?
We left Compostela and headed into our final week on the Camino.
Made a friend. Oh, he's made a new friend.
He's coming. Hi. Now you have a dog.
I guess we have a dog now. Keeps walking with us. Do you like the dog?
Yeah. No,
Go home.
it's on.
Eventually, he left and went home, and we encountered another town taken over by its pets. The weather was starting to warm up again, so we got back in the habit of waking early and walking our first few miles in the coolness of the morning to avoid the heat of the afternoon sun. And even in the early hour, there were many others on the trail.
Well, it's definitely got more crowded today as we get closer to the end.
Which makes sense. In order to receive a Compostela, the official certificate that says you walk the Camino, you have to complete a minimum of the last 100 kilometers.
100 kilometers left?
Tonight, we'd be staying in Porto Maran, and if you look closely, you can see the ruins of an old Roman bridge in the water below.
We walked to Porto Maran.
Porto Maran.
And then we walked through a bunch of fields, stinky manure fields. We got ice cream. Well, no, what was it? Gelato.
We stayed the night high above the river and left early the next morning to continue east.
It's hot. It's hot today. So we're getting near the end. We just have today and tomorrow, and then tomorrow we get to Santiago de Compostela.
Yeah.
How does it feel?
I don't know. We both want to I'm like, okay, let's already be done. It's like those last couple days, it's hard to stick it out. You know, like you want to just be done with some things before it's done. And so then you don't do as good of a job. But, I don't know. It's been really pretty these last couple of days.
Each sort of region, autonomous zone, whatever they're called, has been different. It seems more green, more cold, although we've had a little bit of a hot streak the last couple of days. Yeah, but very beautiful. Lots of oak trees, ferns.
Eucalyptus.
Just 2 more days of walking.
Rocky and I were now days away from finishing our walk across Spain.
Do you like this hotel we're in?
Yeah, it's nice.
Did you like taking a bath?
Why?
Is this the nicest hotel you've ever been in?
I already said yes. Tell me.
Yeah.
The only room we could find in town that night was a fancy modern hotel with a giant bathtub. But our tired bones didn't mind.
the last day.
Perhaps that hotel and all of its amenities was a harbinger of things to come. A brief moment of relatively home-like comfort as we stepped ever closer to Santiago. All around us, we saw signs that we were nearing the end. As we crisscrossed towns and forests, cities and parks, our endpoint was drawing near.
We made it to Santiago. We made it to Santiago. We're not quite at the end. We still got about 2 miles or less. But we made it to the city. Congrats.
We'll make it up as we go. And we'll drive all night, miles from the city. And we'll close our eyes, 'cause I'll go where you lead me. Yeah, I'll go where you lead me.
Got a half mile left. Almost there. 30 days later. We did it. We did it.
As we stride into Santiago de Compostela after our month-long journey, we reflect on moments of awe and adversity. From Paris and over the Pyrenees into Spain, from bustling streets to serene trails, each step echoes with the weight of centuries, whispers of pilgrims past guiding our way. Through illness and health and over 400 miles, we've tested our body's limits, finding resilience in companionship and solitary reflection. As we approach the cathedral's towering spires against the sky, our arrival isn't merely a finish line, but a profound intersection, where paths converge, history unfolds, and our pilgrimage culminates in quiet triumph.
How you feeling?
That is sick. This is crazy.
Walking across the country.
Whole the country.
So we left Santiago de Compostela this morning
Yes.
at 4:30.
Yeah, we got a taxi. Well, it was like 4:20.
And then we took the airplane. We flew to Barcelona.
Yes.
And here we are.
Here we are, Barcelona, baby. Barcelona.
We're at the Joan Miro Foundation Museum. Checking out some of the artwork and the views high above Barcelona.
I remember learning about Antoni Gaudí some random day many years ago, thinking it might be interesting to one day see some of his work in person, but honestly thinking it probably never would happen. But getting a chance to see Park Güell, his experimental residential concept, in person was a highlight. As well as touring La Sagrada Familia, Gaudí's basilica that he began work on in 1882. Gaudí's design is intended to be incredibly symbolic, with intricate sculptures and details reflecting various religious themes, including the Nativity, Passion, and Glory. Inside, Gaudí painted with light. As the color palette and transparency of the stained glass change throughout the day as the angle and intensity of sunlight vary, creating a unique and contemplative dimension to the interior space. Antoni Gaudí, often hailed as God's architect, crafted with light as his brush upon the canvas of Barcelona. "Glory is light," he proclaimed. "Light brings joy, and joy is the joy of the Spirit." In Gaudí's hands, stone and glass dance in symphonies of color, each surface a testament to divine inspiration. A cathedral in perpetual bloom, La Sagrada Familia seems to gather celestial light, filtering it through kaleidoscopic windows to dapple the sanctuary in hues of reverent awe. As the sun traverses Barcelona's skyline, Gaudí's structures come alive, whispering secrets of transcendent beauty. His artistry transcends mere architecture. It is a hymn to light itself, illuminating the soul with the eternal dance of form and radiance. We spent the last moments of our short time in Barcelona dipping our toes in the ocean before calling it a night and saying goodbye to Spain. Walking is not merely a journey of miles, but a pilgrimage of the soul, where each step culminates in a symphony of endurance and enlightenment, a combination of those who've walked before, our separate unique experiences, and the wonder of paths yet traveled.